Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Facebook for Advertising webinar. My name is Zoe Wyatt. I'm the Social Media Specialist and Creative Director of socialmediashortcut.com. I think the main thing for you to know from my background is I'm first and foremost a business owner, and what I am training you on today is what I'm using in my own business and that across hundreds of my clients every single day. My background's a little interesting in that I'm a marine biologist by training, so I had 10 years between federal and state government departments before branching out into my own environmental consultancy. Now, you may think it's a little strange that a marine biologist is teaching you social media marketing, but really when I look at the two industries, the difference has been purely I'm taking technical information, turning it into plain English and putting it to use in your business. My industry has changed somewhat, purely because in marketing my own business, I developed a system that really started to work. People started to ask me questions, and what I found from that was that suddenly more and more people were looking to get my marketing expertise rather than my environmental consulting. So although that was a little interesting, what it has meant for me is I've been able to work with clients in very different industries. I've had a lot of government experience. So I know what it's like to work as an independent small business owner, and I also know the confines and bounds of some of your larger industries. So just first of all, if you could pop into the chat for me, if you could let me know the industry that you are in and the one key takeaway that you're hoping to get from today. If there's one thing you can learn from today, what would that one thing be? If I had a magic social media wand that could just make it happen, I would like to make that happen for you today. So take the time, pop into the chat there. I'll be looking at all of those answers we go through. Bring that back up on full screen. So agritourism. Professional services, nannies, agencies, accountants. Wow, we've got quite a deal of differences there. That's fantastic. I'm just going to increase this size somewhat so I can see it during the presentation as well. Education industry looking to improve online travel business. Fantastic. So as I expected, we have varying levels of industries, of experience levels, and also what you're looking to get out of today's presentation. So I'll keep that in mind as we go through the information and make it as valuable as possible to all of you. I've noticed a couple of you said that I'm in preview mode, so let's get that back into full screen for you. Just one moment. Fantastic. So let's get going. Okay, so we're obviously here today to talk about Facebook advertising. But before we jump in and look at specifics of Facebook advertising and why you should be using it, I want to put this in a little more perspective for you, okay? A lot of people have said in those key takeaways that I just asked for that you're looking to increase the visibility of your business, or you want more likes on your Facebook page, or you want to grow your community or your database. Now, Facebook advertising can do all of those things. In fact, the Facebook community and usage in Australia specifically is huge. The recent reports from January 2014 is there are now over 13 million users of Facebook in Australia. The really amazing statistic for me is that it's checked by 9 million Australians every single day. So, nearly 2/3 of those people are logging in on a daily basis. Now, depending on their age and their geographic segmentation, they're spending about 5.5 to 8.5 hours a week on the platform. So if you're looking at an average of 9 million people logging on every day for approximately an hour a day, it's a powerful, powerful platform to get your marketing messages in front of. In fact, the Q3 results that I have up on the page here, and you'll notice I've put a reference for all of the statistics on the slide. This one is from a great site I would recommend. It's johnloomer.com, JONLOOMER, and hat tip to John Loomer. He produces some great results, and if you're into more advanced Facebook advertising, a fantastic resource for you. But when you look at the revenue for Facebook in the third quarter of 2013, you can see how massively it increased. Now, the big takeaway here, though, is the dark blue is the revenue from advertising. The lighter blue at the top is from payments and other fees associated with using the site. So you can see that the bulk of money or revenue that Facebook is creating is from advertising. It makes sense for them to have a profitable business to actually have more businesses advertising on the site. It is a trade-off, however, because if they start advertising too much or there's too many ads on the site, anybody notice that the ads are getting lots and lots of them? Well, then if the users start turning off because of the advertising, then businesses have nobody to advertise to. So it is a bit of a weighted equation, a little bit chicken and egg. Which one do we create more revenue or do we keep our users happy? So what we've seen in the last 6 months, particularly in the last 90 days, massively, is that as this advertising spend has increased, consumers have started getting a little bit blind to the ads. We're used to seeing the little classified ads down on the right-hand side and tend to ignore them unless they're a very powerful ad advertising something that we really are interested in at a great price with a fantastic image on it. We tend to leave them alone a little bit. Remember, it was only a few years ago where we would just click all over the ads on a Google search, but now tend to skip them because we're looking for the real results. What I've noticed, though, on Facebook is the big standout from this is 20% of the time a consumer spends on a mobile app is spent in the Facebook app. Worldwide, there's 728 million active daily users, and as I showed you before on that graph, there was the Q3 ad revenue worldwide was $1.8 billion. Now, mobile made up 49, or nearly half, of all of the ad revenue. And while over 1 million businesses have run a Facebook ad, graph search has indexed more than 1 trillion connections. So the advertising is still a small part, really, of the actions that are going on Facebook. The big takeaway from that for all of you is that most people don't go to Facebook looking for something to buy. They go to Facebook to socialize with their family and friends and potentially to follow businesses that they're interested in and like them, for most people, in the hope of actually receiving some sort of incentive, a discount, a promotion, etc. So with this mobile use booming, it made sense that Facebook needed to really capitalize on the mobile ad spend. Now, for any of you that have been doing Facebook advertising for some time, you'll know that a lot of the Facebook ads simply did not appear on the mobile platform. Now, whether you think mobile is booming, mobile use is booming because it had a lack of ads, or because we're just using mobile technology more, is a question for you. I think it's potentially a little of both. So what Facebook did late last year is they rearranged a lot of the ads. Now, we're going to get to that and the most recent changes to ads and the changes that are coming to Facebook ads because of some recent legal action. But let's step it back a little bit before we do that. I want to get crystal clear here that we are advertising for a business intent. And this slide is one that I use in my Facebook for Business training. It's intentionally a little bit cartoony in that I want you to know the difference between the structure here. A member of Facebook uses a personal profile. I sign up as myself, I connect with family and friends, and potentially I see ads from businesses that have services or products that I may be interested in. They may simply want me to like their page to stay informed, or they may be offering a discount or a promotion. For you to effectively advertise to Facebook members on these profiles, you need a business page. Now think of the business page as a flyer for your business on Facebook. Okay? And that flyer can be an interactive flyer, have apps on it. We can make it look like a marketing piece for our business. But it's most important that we think about how we're connecting with our social circle in terms of the clients and potential clients that are liking our page on Facebook. The most effective advertising on any social media sites are the ones that remain social in intent. And what I mean by that is rather than just blasting a marketing message or even a discount, it gives the impression that because people are part of your social circle, because they have liked your Facebook page or followed the business on Twitter, etc., then they get access to something that other people don't. And I want you to think overall before, how can I advertise to people, is how can I most effectively connect with clients and potential clients on the social networks. My clients that are having the best results from their social advertising are the ones that have really learnt to maximize the social presence. So they have their Facebook page set up. They've identified what they're trying to achieve on that page and who they're trying to talk to. And they have started actually posting some good content. Now, you may or may not have a huge number of likes on your Facebook page yet, because I know a few of you mentioned wanting to grow your likes with advertising, but it is important that people aren't just being sent to a page that's empty or has no activity, or that you haven't yet tested is hitting the mark with your target clients. So here's an example, and thank you to Paradise Rescue, a great example of a Facebook page. As for a boutique winery, it's based in France, but their wine is sold online through Melbourne in Australia and now moving into America. And you'll see with Paradise Rescue, they have a great cover photo and they have a wonderful profile picture that's here. And the reason I brought up this example is that at the very least you need to be optimizing your cover photo, your profile picture, and the short description that goes here. Now, if you are a local business, you'll see as in Paradise Rescued, it has their location and contact details. But if you're any other business type of your page, that will allow you to put a short description in. And if you're using Facebook advertising to generate likes, this short description will go along with your advertisement. So it's important that you understand that. The other important thing before we get started on the advertising is to think about images. Now, number one, any image that you're using on social media, you have said in the sign-up process that you own the copyright or you have permission of the copyright holder to use that advertising. Now, because we're advertising or promoting a business, we have a commercial intent on Facebook. So we can't just go and pick up an image from Google Images and pop that onto our page or use it in one of our ads without permission, because our intent is that we're going to drive a database or drive business from that ad. The other thing, for those of you that are a little more established or have been on Facebook for a long time, you will know that on this page there used to be a restriction where you couldn't have any text or more than 20% of the image covered in text. You couldn't have calls to actions. You couldn't have your website. Now, on your page, all of those limitations have been lifted. So you could put writing all over that cover photo and have great calls to actions. But, and here's the big but, if you're going to start Facebook advertising and if you're going to promote your page, so if you're going to use it for gaining more likes, as several of you said, and use it as a page promotion, then the image will come straight from your Facebook page. And in advertising, there is still a restriction of no more than 20% text on your image. So the image that you use cannot have more than 20% text. So there's a takeaway. I know it's a little more advanced this early on in the webinar, but just know if you're keeping your images with less than 20% text, you won't run into any trouble. The minute you place an image up that has more than 20% text, I will tell you every ad is processed manually, is reviewed manually. So while your ad may start running, it will very quickly be disallowed. Okay, so if you've tried putting some ads up and your ads are being disallowed, that would be my first tip. Look at how much text is on the image that you are using. Now, it doesn't have to be a lot of words. If the text is large, you can very easily be covering more of your image than 20% with the text. So I would say if you're using text, keep it very simple, keep it smaller, and keep it to one region, because if you're putting it top and bottom, you very quickly go over the grid lines for 20%. So before you launch into a massive like campaign, it really is important that you've optimized your Facebook page. Okay, so now let's get into it. Now, if you're going to start advertising, if you haven't run ads at all before, I'm going to give you a great place to start. It's facebook.com/advertising. And if I pop that into the chat here, for those of you that have run advertising before, this is a great way to get to your advertising benchtop, or you can go up into the top right-hand corner and go into Manage Ads. For everybody else, this is one where you can go straight in, facebook.com/advertising. You'll see a page like this one, and this is an incredibly useful resource. In recent times, Facebook has been extremely helpful in helping us as business owners advertise on their site. Just pop into the question panel there. Anybody know why? Any thoughts as to why Facebook is offering guides and how-tos? They even have a service whereby if you commit to spending $50 a day on the site, they will give you free mentor to work through and set up your ads. Major profit center for them. I think that's right. And of course, I think it's twofold as well. Yes, they are interested in making money. And if we advertise, the more people that advertise, the easier they make it, and the more people spend money with them. I think the other thing is too, there are a lot of people that jumped on and did advertising very badly to start with and got horrible results. So if you as the business owner come in and try advertising, just pop their hand up if you tried advertising and it really didn't work well for you. Yeah, that's good. And I think the main reason it didn't work well is either your page wasn't optimized or you're using the wrong type of ad unit or targeting. So Facebook have gotten smart. They give you lots of resources, and I encourage you, no matter if you're new to advertising or you're quite established, to go through this entire site, facebook.com/advertising. Look at the overview and how it works, but then particularly when it says if you're new to advertising on Facebook, click down here where it says learn more about how it works. When you do that, you'll receive another page that looks like this one. And it will walk you through a video. It will talk to you about finding new customers, boosting sales. There's guides on there, and it will step you through creating your first ad if you're ready to do that. I'm going to take you through that process as well, and I'm going to show you the top tips for maximizing the return on your ad for the minimum cost. Okay. If at any stage you do need to get help, you can click the Get Help here or go up into the Get Help at the top of the page. And really having a look at some other businesses that are effectively advertising to you when you're a user will help you to understand what people are responding to. Initially, like all marketing, we have to look at the intelligence, the data we already have about our business, and put that to work in this platform. Then we look at the results we're getting, we test it, we track it, we tweak it, and we start all over again. Okay, test, track, tweak. So repeat is the way I say it. It's really important when you come to run an ad. It's super simple to get an ad up. It's very difficult to get an effective ad at the lowest possible cost. And when I say difficult, it's not rocket science, but it does take some time. Okay, so it takes some time to learn it, but it also takes some time to do it properly. And has anyone ever seen an ad, maybe over on the right-hand side or in their news feed, and they just think, why am I seeing this? You have no interest at all in the ad. Yeah, a few of you, there's a few hands going up to that one. And the reason for that is laziness on behalf of the business. They really just haven't targeted properly, or perhaps they don't know their target client well enough. Now, on a mass branding campaign, if you were Coca-Cola and you wanted the whole world to know about your new bottle design, for instance, you could probably afford to go and target the 1.2 billion users of Facebook. But even then, I think you'd be wanting to look at the ones that were in the younger demographic and perhaps even had already liked your product. Perhaps you may want to be targeting those that are mentioning Pepsi, for instance, or one of your biggest competitors, and bring them across to your brand. So whatever it is, take the time to go through the resources that Facebook give you because they are actually really great. Now, when you're ready to create the ad, step through and hit Create an Ad. Again, I'm going to draw you back to a great resource at johnloomer.com, and John talks about all different types of ads, images, events, page likes, links. He shows you how to optimize the images for you. This one is more for the advanced users that are in there if you're looking to really optimize the ads you already have. And I want you to be aware of it going in. But now I'm going to pull things back and make it really simple So you can look at one particular ad type that's going to work for most of those key objectives that you shared with me in the beginning. And that one doesn't need so much the ads and the dimensions and everything else, but the advanced information is there if you want it. The main thing I want you to know is that the success of your Facebook ad, no matter what type it is dependent on 3 things. Okay? The first one is the headline. Now, if you're just promoting your page, it will be your page name, he likes. If it's promoting a post that you'd like to get more people to see, or promoting a website, it will be the start of that post. So when you're either writing your ad or writing the post that you're going to use in your ad, it's really important that you think about the first 6 words. The second piece of crucial content is the image that goes with your ad. Now, we've already talked about optimizing the images on your Facebook page if you're promoting your page, but if you're promoting a post, you need to be thinking about what image am I using with my post. Now, again, John has a whole list here of the different types of ads and the different size images to maximize it. I would draw your attention to thinking about how will this look on the mobile platform. Because bearing in mind that half of all the ad revenue is coming from people looking at your ads on the mobile platforms, across all industries, that is. You also may have noticed that Facebook have changed their ads recently. So before, where you put a post up, so this is an example of a post on your page, that they actually allow you to put a link through to a website and you can get a preview image on that post. But choosing the right image is absolutely essential. So they're allowing us now to customize this image. So even when you post, this is before we turn this into an ad, when you post, and there's a lot of text on this slide because this comes straight from Facebook themselves, again the link is there, even when you now post the link on your page, you'll be able to upload another image. Whereas before we used to sort of have to put a status update and then put a completely different photo. Now you can link it together, but more than ever, it is crucial you think about what image am I using in each and every piece of content I'm putting on Facebook, whether or not you know yet if you're going to turn that into an ad, because it's the images that people are responding to. Now, in terms of what ads to run, I said before I'm going to teach you one type of ad today that is getting the biggest results for the majority of my clients. But I want you to understand the difference. When you come into page post link ads, so this is a post on your Facebook page and you pay to advertise it to users in Facebook. Now, you may want to pay to advertise it to people who already like your page to make sure they've seen it, or in most cases you're probably paying to advertise it to people who haven't liked your page in order to get more likes, in order to reach a broader community. Again, that's an objective a lot of you had there. So what you can now do is, before we would put up an ad, and this is Shop Bevel statement rings, and would you rock a statement ring? Pre-order one today and see for yourself. And if you click on that, it would go across to the Shop Bevel statement rings page, for instance. Now what you're able to do is run what's called a news feed format ad. So that same ad can actually appear like it would appear as a regular post in Facebook users' news feeds. And it's this native advertising, or advertising that looks like content on the site, that is really exploding and has really exploded in the last 6 months. And my crystal ball is that there's going to be a huge swing towards uptake in native advertising. So for me, how can you use native advertising, or advertising that looks like content on Facebook? And this is a prime example of it. You actually pay to have your post from your page placed into the newsfeed of users that you have targeted. So it may be that you want a 25 to 35-year-old female that lives within 20 miles of Redcliffe to see your particular post. And you can get extremely targeted. But again, I just want you to get very clear on what I mean by the right column format. They're the classified ads on the right-hand side that you're probably all used to, and the newsfeed format. That's where we're actually putting the ad into the newsfeed of Facebook users and targeting the Facebook users that we want that ad to go into the newsfeed of. Now, this is the easiest way to get impressions, to get likes to your Facebook page, but I will warn you too, it can lead to some complaints because Facebook users can be a little bit protective of their newsfeed, and if suddenly things are popping in there and they don't understand why, then you may get questions like, why is in my newsfeed, is this spam? So you've got to be two things. One, the content you put up has to be valuable for people, and you really need to make sure you're targeting the right audience. The other way is to use what's called a sponsored post, whereby instead of you, the business, just putting the post in the newsfeed, you can actually show it to a person because one of their friends has done something with that post. So they've liked it, or they've commented, or they've shared it. So one of my friends is more likely to respond to you or to your post if it says Zoe Wyatt liked this or Zoe Wyatt shared this on Facebook. You'll notice yourself, you go and have a look at your own newsfeed if you haven't done already. If there's a little sponsored below the image or the post down here, that means this is an ad and it was played to be pasted in the newsfeed. Now you notice I have put a reference at the bottom here for the Facebook advertising. Again, it is the facebook.com/help file that I gave you in that earlier example of the advertising page. Now before we get to just the create the ad bits, I want to make something really clear. 51% of fans say they're more likely to buy a product since becoming a fan. Now, a fan is an old term for people liking your page. Interestingly too, fans 50 or likers, age 50 and over, are the most likely to buy more for at least a few brands. So if people are coming to your page and liking your page, it's generally because they are interested in your business, your product or service. So if you're advertising to get people to come and like your page, it's important that you're getting the right people to like your page, because otherwise they'll simply come to the page and unlike, or they may, as I said, complain about spam. Most people, though, buy from a brand, are more likely to buy from a brand after they've connected with you in a social context. So once they've made the like, you're more likely to get a sale. So my advice to you is use your Facebook advertising more for building community, building your database, and promoting the information rather than just driving to a product sale. Once you have people that like your page, then you can be starting to hit them with, about 30% of the time with promotional posts. But it's much harder to run an ad that just promotes a product, particularly if it sends people to an external website, so straight to your website. So the 3 steps there: optimize your Facebook page. Get really good posts onto your page. Because what you'll find is then if you get good content onto your page, they will organically be going into people's newsfeed. You'll get to see what people like and don't like in your posts. You'll get to gauge that in your posts. And then, and this is really key, take your good content and pay to have more people see it. So take the posts that get a great reaction, that get likes, comments and shares from your community, and pay to have those seen by more people. Don't take the posts that got no response whatsoever and try and make it, pay to get it more exposure and to get it more interaction. Now, if you believe you had a post that, maybe you've only got 10 likes on your page right now, and you think it would have got good interaction if you'd had more likes, running a page promotion, a simple page likes campaign, may assist you to get your numbers up first, create some good content, and then work out what people like. But if you've actually got an established Facebook community and you're trying to generate more engagement, you're trying to generate more sales and more people on the database and more likes, then I would be saying take your good content. Because people are spending all of their time, you look at this graphic, 49% of the time they're posting on walls, theirs, their own and others, or they're in their newsfeed. They're searching for people. It's only right down the bottom here at 14% that they're actually going off and visiting fan pages. So people aren't coming into Facebook and go, let's go to your Facebook page. They're coming in, They're logged into their news feed, they're seeing interesting things from their family and friends, and then they may see a post by you, either because they've liked your page and they've previously engaged with it, or because you've paid for it to go there. So it needs to be targeted to the right people and it needs to be relevant. Now, just a word on boosting or promoting posts. You'll see the word promote here. Most of you should now have a boost button. When you come to your Facebook page, you can choose just to take a post that got some good interaction and boost it. It's a simple way to start your Facebook advertising. It can be effective. The only difficulty with this was it used to be that you could just boost a post to make sure that more people that like it got to see it. What then happened was they said you can boost a post so that the people that like your page and their friends on Facebook get to see a post. And a word of warning from me here. If you want to boost a post and maybe just go down at the lower end of the budget because it's simple to do and it's a great way to get started, it will help you set up your advertising account, by all means do. But if you're spending more than, say, $20 on boosting a post, you're probably wasting money. And here's why. If you simply boost a post and it goes out to everybody that's liked your page today and all of their friends, think about your own friends on your personal Facebook profile. Now, I have 5 teenagers. Well, they're not all teenagers now. They're from 18 to 29. And they're all my friends on Facebook. They have friends that I wouldn't ordinarily probably be friends with. But also, those 5 teenagers have very different tastes, wants, needs, desires, and likes in products, services, and businesses than myself. And if they start seeing things on internet marketing and social media marketing and maximizing your sales funnel, they would completely turn off. Okay, they're just not interested at all. So if you're boosting a post to get to my friends, because I like your page already and you're paying for my friends to see that, you could be wasting a lot of money. Now, if you have a really small community, or if you're in a more generic-based industry, so something like education, potentially you guys could get away with. But think about it this way. If you, instead of boosting this post, took this post and did a promoted post story ad. So you still take the content of the post, but instead you target the exact type of person that you want to have this post go into their newsfeed. And you can talk then to, females between 20 and 43 who have children under 6 years of age that live within a geographic region and who happen to like My Kitchen Rules. That's what you discovered most of your parents were into, for instance. So see how much more targeted you can get. Now, here's the tip. The more you target, the greater your results, the lower your cost. So micro-targeting, greater your results, lower the cost. And when you think about it, if you target less people, you should get lower results, but you don't, because if you actually target a segment, then you're going to get a higher click-through rate because more of those people will actually be interested in your ad. And at the end of the day, they'll be more interested in your offer, whether that's simply liking your page or signing up and buying something. So what used to happen is people would come in and sign up for an ad and you would write one of these little Facebook pay-per-click ads. I suggest you leave the right column, remember we were talking about the classifiers on the right, until you're more comfortable with what's working for you on Facebook. And instead, I suggest when you go to create an ad, you focus on the 2 to 3 types that are at the top here. So when you click on create an ad, you'll get this exact page. I'm going to show you page post engagement today, but for those of you that are looking just to drive page likes, if you click that one, it will walk you through the process of doing this as well. So it comes up, you click on the one you want, and it will ask you if you want to, I want more engagement. So I've got a post up that I want more likes, comments, shares, I want more people to see it, and I want more interactivity on that post, okay? It will ask me to select my page that I want to advertise. So I'm going down and I'm going to select social media shortcut here, which is my training page. And then it simply walks me through a process of setting up the ad. And this is quite simple. It's the end of this and making it work that gets a little tricky. Okay, so I select social media shortcut, and it brings up a list of my most recent posts. You have an option of always being your most recent post. I don't suggest you click that one. Just say click the post that you already know is a great post, that you've already got results with on your page, and then pay to get more people to see it. Okay, so I've selected a video that I just put up, social media shortcut number 1, setting your 1 to 3 key objectives from social media marketing. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go across to social media shortcut, facebook.com/social media shortcut, and have a look. Now I'm going to take this post and I'm going to run a news feed ad. Now you'll notice there is actually right column listed over here, and I've said to all of you, don't run right column till you know what you're doing. So if you just go down to under advanced options and show advanced options, you can choose to untick right column. Okay. Now right column ads definitely work, but I would be putting my budget to the newsfeed ads to start with if you're promoting posts. If you're promoting your page, they will only be, you'll get both, and both will work for you in terms of if you just want to get page likes. But if you're doing a promoted post or you're clicking to a website, I would suggest initially taking the right column ads out, because then you don't have to worry about writing the headline and writing the content. It's just this post that's going to go up in the newsfeed ad. Then we get to target our audience, and here's where you've got to get to work, okay? Because in terms of your targeting, this is what will make or break your advertising. You can choose an audience based on location, based on age, based on gender, different languages that they click. You can click down here for more demographics, but the vast majority of things are going to be in interest areas. And this changed quite recently. It used to be precise interest and generic ones, but now the interest areas are all in one box. As you type an interest in, and I've typed in for mine social media, you'll see that all of these suggestions come up. And it will show beside each one the amount of people based on my previous targeting. So I've still got global on here, but if you could have brought it down to Australia or maybe Brisbane within 10 miles, females only, 25 to 43, for instance, and I could have found out who was interested in social media. Now, if I just pick something like social media marketing, am I going to get other social media marketers? When really what I'm looking for is business owners, marketing professionals, people that need my social media training in order to maximize their business growth. So as well as doing something generic like social media, I may have gone more lateral than that and think about your ideal target person. What sort of magazines are they reading? Is it Business Review Weekly, for instance? What advertising are they watching? Sorry, what TV are they watching? Something like the Gruen Transfer. Or it might be Business Saturday if I'm trying to get to business owners. So see how you can really start thinking more. If you're in the chef and cooking, I know one of you were talking about food production before, actually targeting based on people that say they're interested in My Kitchen Rules or MasterChef, for instance, can be really powerful, particularly if you line that up with additional targeting on their age and their gender, their location, etc. Importantly here, you can choose to connect with you can choose to advertise to everyone that meets that targeting criteria, or you can select only people who are already connected to your Facebook page, or importantly, people who are not connected, so who haven't already liked your Facebook page. So if you're trying to drive new likes and new engagement and increase your community, well then of course you'd be for the ones that are not connected to your page. And then more categories going in there. You could be looking at if they're games or custom categories, events, etc. Now I want to leave some time for questions, so I'm going to pop through some of the getting up here fairly rapidly, but it does walk you through the process. You go down to set your campaign budget, and one thing to be careful of here, a campaign can be a group of ads. So a campaign is to one page with one intent. So it might be social media shortcut, page promotion, for instance, or it may just be socialmediashortcut.com. If you set a budget for the campaign, you can then run multiple ads in the campaign. So you can set one ad up and go back and keep doing more, but your campaign will limit the amount that is spent daily. Now, one of the biggest questions I get is how much do you need to run an effective campaign? My advice on this generally, and I don't normally like talking in general figures, I see most of my clients that are getting results have a minimum spend of $10 per day. Now, if you're just starting out with this and you have a budget of $10 per week or per month to do it, well then what I would suggest you do is run the ad for 1 day a week. Run it on the weekend. Try it Saturday, try it Sunday, try it on your busiest day. Don't really be going down to anything less than $5 a day. You're just not going to see results. And in fact, I like that $10 per day if you can get to there. Now, if you have $1,000 a day, some of my clients do, to run on Facebook ads, I would still suggest that you test a campaign at $50 a day or below, because that will give you enough traffic to see what's happening, to find out what really works for you, and then you can ramp it up. And remember, just like your post, take what works and give it more attention rather than jumping in boots and all and hoping that it will work for you. If you look at this bidding and pricing, if you're doing post engagement, it will automatically default to optimizing to get more engagement. And the other ones, it will optimize for page likes. And if you're just starting out, I do recommend you take this optimization, because they're not going to run your ad for more than what your campaign is set for daily spend. As you get more advanced, you may want to click on the bottom there and go into advanced. And then you can choose between two things. You can pay per click and you can pay per view. Now the difference there is, if you pay per click, you only actually pay every time somebody clicks on your ad. In this case, your post. If you pay per view, you're paying every time the ad is shown. Now most people would say, that's simple. I only want to pay every time someone clicks, because then it doesn't matter how many times it's shown. It's only when people actually take an action that I spend money. Great. Yes, it is great, except it costs you more generally to pay per click than pay per view. Conversely, you can pay per view because it's cheaper, but you could be showing it to the wrong people, spending lots and lots of money and getting no action whatsoever. So initially I'd say look at the optimization and then go into the more advanced ones. How do you know when an ad is working or not? We'll cover that in the next section. So they then ask you to review your ad, and it goes off to be manually approved. Now, in terms of that manual approval, the biggest thing I see people getting ads disallowed for are that their image has more than 20% text, that you have used some sort of offensive or potentially offensive language in your post, or that you're in an industry that Facebook really doesn't like advertising. And if you're in the insurance, weight loss, make money from home type market, they are very strict on you. So you need to make sure that, and it's another reason really to do a promoted post to start with, that wherever your ad leads is quality content. I've also put up some information here on maximizing posts, because if you get a really great post off your page and then pay to advertise it, you'll get really great advertising results. The biggest takeaway from this slide, and it's a great graphic from visual.ly, visually, is that posts that are short, 80 characters or less, get 23% higher engagement. Posts with great photos receive 39% higher than average engagement and interaction. And when you ask fans or likers to do something with your post, to like it, to share it with their friends, to comment, to answer a question, they're more likely to actually do that. So if you're trying to drive engagement, make sure the post that you're doing is really good to start with, okay? And there's some tips on that. You'll notice too that, how do you know what's a good post? So before you run your ads, what I suggest you do is go into your Facebook Insights. Now, it's the top of your admin panel. If you've never been there before, make sure you're using the new Insights. It's right at the top, there's a little button. It will bring up a summary, but on every single post you have, if you click on the post in your Insights, this is, it will bring up a scorecard like this one. You're all seeing that scorecard on your screen. It will tell you how many people it reached, how many likes, how many comments, how many shares. You can very quickly see your most popular posts. This then is the post that I would go and spend money on advertising. In terms of demographics and breakdown, it's all in your Insights as well. So if you're looking at who am I targeting, I would go and have a look at who already likes our page. Are we hitting the right people? And if so, use some of that data when you're targeting your ads. And it may not be. You may want to move to an older demographic, for instance, and discover that they have more money to spend. and to make sure that they're actually in your country of choice. So spend some time in your Facebook Insights first. Get to know your target client really well and find the content that's already working. And if you don't have good content, start writing some, okay? Then get into your advertising. Once you've run a few ads, then you can come back to your Facebook advertising report, and you'll very quickly see the ads that are working the best for you and getting you the best results. If you're going to do a lot of Facebook advertising, in fact, if you're going to do any Facebook advertising, it's crucial you track your results. And without getting too technical on a 1-hour webinar, what I will say to you is the higher your click-through rate, the lower your cost and the higher your results. So the higher percentage of people that see your ad and click on it or on the post or on the photo that you're advertising, the higher the percentage is on that click-through rate, it's called CTR, the lower your cost per click will become. Facebook rewards good content. So you get this targeting right, you hit the right people, not only are you going to maximize your results, but your costs over time will come down. Bear in mind it only works for so long, and you do need to keep replacing your ad because people start getting quite blind if they're seeing the same ad over and over. Okay, but I know I've dwelt on Facebook today because that's all we really have time for in a 1-hour webinar. But social advertising and native advertising has infiltrated through nearly every single social media site. I've just come back from the Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego, actually only last week. And the amount of work that internet marketers and the stealth internet marketers doing massive Google pay-per-click advertising campaigns, the amount of work those people are now doing in social advertising is astounding. And the reason for it, it works. If you get to know your target clients well, if you take the time to produce good content, so write good ads or write good posts that you use in ads and then target it effectively, you can have amazing results at a very low cost. Along with Facebook, Twitter has promoted tweets there as well. LinkedIn has the pay-per-click advertising I was talking about, and they have more advanced if you're looking at employment ads and using for HR, etc. I've got a whole new unit coming out on YouTube advertising. You know, we've all seen those ads that you can skip in 5 seconds at the beginning. So they're actually videos that you are using in an ad at the content. And I see a lot of small to medium enterprises doing amazing things with YouTube advertising right now. It's important, though, that you learn one concept first. For some of you, I've noticed, and you've mentioned industries that Pinterest is working really well in. So here's another one for the advanced people on the call. So if your head is already starting to hurt a little bit, you may not want to do that. But for those of you that have an established Pinterest board, Pinterest have promoted pins. Now they're rolling them out progressively around the world. You do have to apply for your promoted pins, but I'll put this in here as a more advanced link. It's business.pinterest.com/promoting-pins. So business.pinterest.com/promoting-pins to apply for your promoting pins. There's lots of guides in there, and basically it just allows you to, rather than promoting a post on your Facebook page, you're promoting a picture or video that you've pinned on your Pinterest boards on Pinterest. Okay, so we're just talking about Pinterest users. So there's one for the advanced ones. I said I'd like to give you all something to go away with from today. Now I've left some additional time to go through questions. There's been quite a few streaming in while I've been talking, and I'm going to go back and cover those. If you do want more help with this, if you really want to put yourself in a room with 8 to 15 other people and actually work on your social media advertising, then I run BYO laptops around Australia. Now a BYO laptop is exactly that. Bring your own laptop computer into a very small group training situation. I go through not just the theory, but we set up your advertising campaigns as we go, and we'll work on the platforms that are most relevant for you. For the majority of our trainees, we find that they spend more time on their Facebook advertising, but if you feel like you've kind of got that handle, then we can be branching into your YouTube and Twitter, and I give you the information to go forward with those as well on the day. All of our BYO laptop trainings are contained on thecreativecollective.com.au/events, or simply go to thecreativecollective.com.au and click on the events tab at the top of the page. Now, the reason I'm not giving you dates for training coming up, because you may be listening to a recording and I'm not sure which city you're in. We are extending through New Zealand as well, and we do a lot of online training. So if you're listening to this from further afield than Australia and New Zealand, then by all means, still go and look at the page, because we have a complete online training system that allows you to maximize digital marketing. It's called the Get Up to Speed program. Not just social media marketing, but digital marketing for your business as well. So have a look at the events page and let's get into those questions. Let's bring them out. We've got quite a few, and some of these I've answered. I'm going to pop all of your hands down, but then if you have an additional question, if it's one that you would rather speak and you have a microphone or a headset with you, by all means, I'm happy to bring you out on the line and take your question. Otherwise, I'm going to scroll through the ones that are here and answer those for you. Looking at the most effective methods of advertising and rules and regulations. Rules and regulations are really interesting on this. There's a couple of you saying that you've had ads disapproved as you've gone along. Like I said, the number one thing I would say there is that in a lot of cases it's because you may have broken the text on the image rule. So it's important when you're putting your posts up on your Facebook page, even though you can have more than 20% text, you probably shouldn't, because you may want to use that post. A lot of the summy cards type thing, I put up some fantastic infographics, but I can't use those in most of my advertising because there's just too much text. If Facebook disallow your ad, they will send you a message and they'll put the Facebook advertising guidelines in that message, so you can click on that and go back and see what it is. By all means, though, if you've got more questions, if you go off and start running your ads and you're getting ads disapproved, you're not sure why, feel free to pop over to the Creative Collective, so facebook.com/the Creative Collective, and ask us your question there on the page, or send us a message. Also, too, you'll notice that both the Creative Collective's Twitter account, which is Creative Collect, is on the bottom here, and my personal Twitter account. So if you have, it's at zdeluca, Z-D-E-L-U-C-A. Now, I've given you my personal one because you may want to connect with me personally or have a question, or you want to ask about individual training, that sort of things. By all means, there. If it's about your social media digital marketing, by all means be connecting with the Creative Collective. Okay. I put that all Facebook. Okay, great question. What was the link to get started? It's facebook.com/advertising. Okay, facebook.com/advertising. Look at those questions. Why won't this come up for me? Oh, okay. How can you pay? How can you pay? When you first set up your advertising campaign, when you first set up your first ad, they will walk you through a payment method. It's credit card, or on the boosting posts, they actually will allow you to pay by PayPal as well. If you are managing advertising for, I know there's a couple of social media professionals on the line, if you're managing advertising for clients, I recommend that you actually have them set up the advertising account and make you an admin on that account. That's far more advanced, but it's something I do cover in our BYO laptop for our professionals. It's also something I cover in our social media for professionals at the end of the year if you're managing for clients. But yes, they will walk you through that system. Just be a little bit careful. I do recommend initially having a card specifically for online purchases. Obviously, it's a business expense. You want to make sure it's a business credit card that you're using there. But for me, I don't like to use my main business card. It's just out of for security purposes. I actually have a Visa debit card where I put a set amount of advertising dollars onto it. To date, I've been advertising for many years on Facebook. To date, I have had no issues whatsoever with charges or incorrect charges on my account. But, I think it's best practice to not be using your main business credit card on any internet site whatsoever. That's just for me. Okay, great question, Karen, on what are the average results we can see. I love the word average, and you've even put in inverted commas. Look, it varies so dramatically. It really is hard to say. And I'm not dodging a bullet there. I've had people that could get clicks for 5 cents. I had a campaign for a client last week, and they were driving page like for 16 cents a like, but that's not average. In more competitive industries, I would say to my clients, for what we call an outcome. So if you're trying to get a page like, or if you're trying to get people to sign up onto your database, whatever that objective is, per objective, you really need to work out what is my maximum spend. If I get somebody on my database and on average they become a $50 client, then, how many people do I need to get on that database? How much can I afford to spend on advertising, and work it backwards? I generally don't like targeting that means I'm spending more than $1 per click, and would be very targeted. For most of my clients, I'm working to get them down around the 50 cents sort of per click. But like I said, I've got a lot that are way, way cheaper. But what they've done is they've really targeted. So the more you target, obviously, the lower your audience, and the lower the number of people you can actually advertise to. So you've got to kind of weigh it up between how much exposure do I want, how many people do I actually want to reach, and how targeted do I want to be. Because as I said before, if you micro-target, you maximize your results, you minimize your cost, but you've only got so many people. If I wanted to, which I did for one client, they specifically wanted 18-year-olds, because it was about turning 18. They specifically wanted 18-year-olds within a 10-mile radius of one location that liked a particular brand. So they had a rather small target demographic, but they got massive results because they were only hitting the people they really wanted to hit. So I think the main thing for me is to watch your click-through rate. Okay, we do go into that in the BYO as well, but it's watching your click-through rate. So because you might have 100 people see one ad and have 50 of them, click on it. So you've just really nailed that, whereas you might have 100,000 on it and have 100 people click on it. Obviously, that's a way worse performing ad, or you didn't target well enough. In terms of how many people should you target, again, it depends on our niche, your product offering or service is. I generally find if you're targeting less than about 3,000 people, it's hard to get impressions. Most of my targeting sort of sits between about the 30,000 and the 300,000 mark. If you're getting much above that, when you go to set up your ad, and if I'm getting too technical here, this is a little more advanced, as you set up your ad, every time you put in a targeting demographic, it will change the number of people potentially can see your ad, and it does it in real time, so you get to see how many people am I targeting potentially with this ad. If that targeting is above about 300,000, what I would suggest is to break your ad up, break your targeting up, so maybe run one ad for males and then exactly the same ad just for females with that targeted group, for instance. Or you may run the same ad and then cut it down to year groups. So if you said our product suits 20 to 50-year-olds, I wouldn't necessarily run the same ad to 20 to 50-year-olds because there might be 3 million of them that meet your targeting. I would run 20 to 30 and then 30 to 40 and then 40 to 50 as 3 separate ads, but keeping everything else the same. Does that answer that? Some of you are probably starting to gloss over. It's getting more involved, but it's all in there. And the big takeaway from all of this is if you require more assistance, by all means, be connecting with us at The Creative Collective. As I said, facebook.com/The Creative Collective. If you really want to get to work on maximizing social media advertising for your business and your clients, then join us at a BYO laptop. All of the details are at thecreativecollective.com.au/events. If you need help with your overall marketing strategy, we'd be delighted to do that for you too. And please be connecting on all of the social media networks. We'd love to hear what you thought of today's webinar and if there are other topics that you would like us to cover in the future. We're guided by performing the best webinars we can for our target market. And it's really only in giving us that feedback that we can provide more valuable information to you on our monthly webinars. So if you're connecting at facebook.com/The Creative Collector or over on Twitter at Creative Collect, or you'll find us too on LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and many, many more. We look forward to your feedback, and of course, if you're giving some great feedback on the page, we're happy to promote the individual businesses as well by responding to you on those pages. Thank you for your time today. I hope you found that valuable for you, and I look forward to hearing your results from your Facebook advertising. Good day.